Each day I just knew that my life was getting a bit darker and darker, and I didn't know how to get out of the hole. There was like a bottomless pit, and I couldn't find any place to hold on to either. Hello, everyone. This is Lisa from Hearing Loss Pathfinder, and today we're going to look at sudden hearing loss. It is different for everyone, so that I want to say up front. So my experience is very personal, and it might be different for the next person who goes through sudden hearing loss. But you know, when I began to lose my hearing was going up and down. I thought that I was, it's like, am I doing something wrong? Am I, are my ears dirty, or, what's going on here? And people were very impatient, of course. They thought they felt like I wasn't paying attention, or I was just, distracted. So there were so many things that were happening so quickly. It was impacting my work. It was impacting my relationship with my roommates. It was insane, and it was very quickly. So, people would call my name, I would never hear them, or the next day I would, so it was this up and down situation. And then all of a sudden my hearing just dropped, and it was gone. So then I had to go urgently to a doctor. And she did everything she was supposed to do to evaluate the situation. But, she tried steroids, she cleaned out my ears, she did everything, she checked for any other anomalies, and she couldn't find a reason for it. So it meant that it was deeper in the system. So what happened was she just had to tell me the truth. So in one appointment, once we had completed everything that she was supposed to do for, figuring out my hearing, she said, "You are losing your hearing, and there's nothing I can do to stop the process." So that was a scary comment. And I remember that, I was moved over to the next office, which was my audiologist's office. And she just kind of sat with me quietly. And I said to her, "I'm not sure what just happened with Dr. Cornack, and so the audiologist interrupted me, and she said, "We will continue to work with you. It's not like it's the end of the world. We have hearing aids, and we'll start with that. And I will see you as this situation evolves." So I didn't know exactly what that meant, but later in weeks, in the months and the years, I did. My hearing was all over the place. It was not a stable situation. So my audiologist just began to work with me with hearing aids, turning them up, turning them down a little bit, so we just went with the flow with my hearing going all over. And but people are still, frustrated, and they just thought that I was doing something, or I just was distracted and not paying attention. And so I had to tell them, no, I have sudden hearing loss, and it's going to come and go. Sometimes I just couldn't go to work because I would lose my hearing. So, as a social worker, I have to speak, I have to listen, I have to, make phone calls. And if I couldn't hear at all, for a day or two, I just couldn't go to work. It was just a waste of time, other than me perhaps doing something different than just filing or writing reports or something. But of course, everybody's going to want to talk to me. Everybody has questions, and so it snowballs. So I would take it as a sick day, and at home, I was beginning to realize the things I couldn't hear that were important to hear. So, not being able to watch TV, and I didn't have like a ton of experience doing research on the computer and picking up news on the computer. I didn't. So it was that situation where I began to interact a lot with the computer and searching things that I needed to learn, or searching the news, or searching updates on XYZ, because I couldn't talk to the professional, or I couldn't sit with my roommates to watch the news and learn what was going on in the world. It was this, and I realized that, being in my room, I wouldn't be able to hear anything outside of my room. So my ability to hear and be aware of my environment became smaller and smaller and smaller. So that circle was just enclosing more and more. So emotionally, it was hard. It was frustrating. I think I felt like there was nobody out there who could help me, or there was nobody, I felt isolated. I felt like there should be something I could have done, or I could be doing, to stop the process, and there really wasn't. There just wasn't. It was just what was going to happen. And my audiologist, she would see me once a month, once every other month, to adjust the hearing aids according to what was going on. And, I felt guilty, and she said, "Stop it." "Stop it." "Don't feel guilty. It's your condition, and it's gonna go up and down. So we know that." And, she said, "If you need to talk to me, if something happens," and a couple of times I would need to write to her, or she would need to write to me, more correctly. She would need to write to me and when I would lose my hearing, I would lose the ability to know how loud I was speaking. And so that was another one. Sometimes I would just stop speaking altogether, and I would just write, because I didn't want to yell at anybody. "How are you?" Didn't want to do that. So it came towards the end, I think after 2.5 years, that some people with sudden hearing loss just lose it, and that's it. It doesn't go up and down. It's just gone. So then they have to figure out and make sure that it's not going to come back up, and do other treatments. And with me, it took a little bit, the process. So it was 2.5 years, and then, it really started going down and not coming back up. So my audiologist said, it's almost time for me to refer you over to the hospital. And for them, they have a hearing loss clinic, and they can start working with you to observe you. And then once the hearing doesn't come back up at all, then you can start talking about cochlear implants. And that just blew me out of the water, because I had no idea what cochlear implants were. I was like, oh my God, now what? So just the experience of my world just getting smaller and smaller and smaller was, I don't know, it's like the lights were going out or something. I could see, I could speak, but I couldn't understand my environment, and the sense of safety was going away as well. So at the clinic, at the hospital, they would do a lot of counseling so that emotionally I could maintain because you do get anxious, you do get depressed, you do get frustrated, you know, and it's not easy. It's not easy for anyone who loses their hearing suddenly and it never comes back, or for people who are on that trend of losing it completely and it just goes up and down, then one day it just doesn't come back up ever. So it 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 takes a lot of emotional strength and patience with yourself and patience with others. And it's really important to explain to others what's happening, so they understand that you're not doing this, you're not distracted, you're not pushing them off or anything. It just is part of the condition. So if you don't say that, then the struggle or the relationship is going to really get frayed. So, I just had to say to the people I was living with, I said, I have sudden hearing loss. It's going to go up and down. Some days it's not going to come back up. And I'm going to be in a very silent world for a day or two, maybe 3. Maybe it doesn't come back. So it's not that I'm distracted or ignoring you. It's just the condition itself. So I ask for patience. I ask for you to write, if I can't quite, because my hearing would get really like fuzzy, like unclear. And it seemed like people were talking in water. And I remember at the beginning that I started saying things like, what is the matter with people? Why is everybody mumbling? And, the doctor said to me, listen to what you just said. Why is everybody mumbling? And how is that possible? How can everyone be mumbling? And it's true, how can, so really I understood that it was me, that my hearing was just fluctuating in a way that sounds weren't clear, speech wasn't clear, and it was very frustrating. So that's my experience in terms of how I felt, that darkness, that limited me, experiencing environment and communication just got smaller and smaller and smaller until, boom, the light went out. And so my doctor said it's time, at the hospital. My doctor said it's time, and it's important for you to consider the cochlear implant, and we have presentations that would be important for you to go to, and it'll be captioned, so don't worry about that, and learn everything you can. So I was researching on the computer, and I took the class, and then we talked about it a little bit more. And so the day came where we decided that, yes, we should do the cochlear implant, and the truth is that, it was the best thing. It took me a long time to kind of catch up again with speech. I don't know why, but it just took a long time the first time. So it took me like 5 months. And usually it takes about a few weeks or a month. And for some people, it's just right away. They hear right away and they're good to go. And I've talked a little bit about that experience of having friends and people I know who have cochlear implants, and they got, connected or turned on, and they heard right away it wasn't a problem. It's like, I hate you. But it took me 5 months, and why, we're not sure. But, the audiologist just said, this is not a race. You just do it at your pace, and you'll be fine. You'll catch up eventually. So yeah, we did it, and it worked out on the left side very well. And then I did the right side later on, about a year and a half later. So that's my personal experience, feeling that how small my world was getting, how dark it was becoming. And that's not everybody. It's not everybody. I did have a counselor for a while because, you know, it was getting to that point where it was so frustrating and so unpredictable. You know, it was just kind of going down, but it wasn't coming up. So things were getting really harder and harder to survive each day. So I had a counselor, and she would help me with my emotions and especially my communication with other people, because that's where, you know, the rub and the fray was happening. You know, things were unraveling. So, and people felt bad for me, and other people didn't know what to say or what to do. And I would just say, there's nothing you can really do other than just be patient with me as I go through this. So, and that's what I have to say for anyone out there who has sudden hearing loss and they're going all over the place, to really try to see if you can connect with a counselor that's going to hold your hand through that and help you get through it, because at some point, you know, the lights will go out and a cochlear implant will be there for you. And things will get better from there on. But when you're in the middle of it, it's really hard. So that's an experience I wanted to share in terms of what happened to me and how the areas that had impacted me, you know, the fear, the frustration, the anger, the lack of communication, you know, all those things. So today is today, and I have 2 cochlear implants and doing just fine. Once in a while, you know, I might miss something here and there, and I do have electronics that let me know what's going on around me. So that fear and that darkness is gone, basically, and I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable with everyday life. So that's the hope. That's the light. And so I just wanted to share that here on the channel in terms of where I ended up and where I had to work hard and the light at the end of the tunnel and how all that happened. So I'm hoping this is useful for you. And you know what I like you to do with this. If you find this channel helpful, feel free to subscribe. If you would like to like the videos, that helps also for other people to also see it and comment and share your experience. And that will help other people know that what they're going through, they're not the first ones, and there is support out there. And I will put some links down below, so in case you want to get a hold of a group and participate with them and learn from them, that would also be helpful. So take care, stay safe, stay warm, and I'll see you in the next one.